I blog over at notanothermummyblog.com, and I also do a bit of travel blogging at spaceinyourcase.com. I live in southeast London in a Victorian terraced house, which I love. I've lived here for about 6 years, and 3-bedroom house, and it's always been one of those houses I remember visiting people's houses in London. Years ago when I was in my 20s and had a tiny flat, I remember seeing these houses and just thinking, oh, they're absolutely beautiful with Victorian fireplaces and period features and just so lovely. So it was a real dream come true when we managed to buy this place 6 years ago. I would say that my interior style is probably a mix of modern and very bright poppy colours, and I'm really into mid-century shapes. So the favourite part of my house is probably my living room, because we, a few months ago, revamped it, and while we didn't do anything big like buy new furniture, we painted the walls white. When we first moved in, it was back in the days when feature walls with wallpaper were really on trend. So we put this bright red floral wallpaper on one wall, and actually all it did was narrow the room in, because it's quite a dark, narrow room. And so we painted the walls white, and we bought really bright cushions and accessories, and I put up some IKEA picture rails so we can have some nice pictures and accessories and ornaments up, and it's just totally transformed the room, and I love it. I would say that the trickiest thing about kind of home family interiors is striking that balance between having a space that you love as grown-ups, you know, that kind of space where you come in and you just think, oh, I love where I live, but also it being practical, because let's face it, when you've got kids running around with muddy boots on and they're stomping on your lovely rug and leaving footprints everywhere, or they've got like jammy fingers, or my daughter's 5, so I live here with my husband and my daughter who's 5, and her favourite thing is to sit on our sofa crunching biscuits, and the crumbs just go everywhere, and you know, she'll want to kind of climb up there and eat, you know, toast with jam and Nutella, and I'm like, my cushions, my lovely cushions, but it's fine. I think you have to kind of relax a bit and just think, do you know what? Yeah, we'll buy lovely things, and some of it will get trashed and some of it won't, and that's just the reality of family life, isn't it? I find that really hard, because genuinely I don't see myself as being a particularly stylish person. I know that sounds like we're like, yeah, like genuinely I don't. I kind of think a lot of what I do is just copying things that I like. I get a lot of my interiors inspiration from other bloggers, and I know that, again, you might be like, yeah, you're saying this on an interiors blog, but genuinely, I just find that when I look through magazines, whether it's an interiors magazine or whether it's a glossy mag that's got an interior section, it just feels so irrelevant to me, because usually they'll be looking around the home of some amazingly stylish person in West London or the Cotswolds, and they'll have this sprawling massive house with high ceilings, loads of light coming in, and just stuff that I could never afford. And even if the magazine does a whole kind of, here's how you can recreate the look on a budget, it's still stuff that's really expensive. And I get that magazines need to feature aspirational things and please advertisers, but that's where I think blogging is just the best thing since sliced bread, because interiors blogs actually show you stuff that you can afford. So for me, my budget is definitely IKEA, Homebase, Habitat. Do you know what? Habitat I'm splashing out because it's quite pricey, the way in my view. John Lewis, Marks and Spencer, real high street places. That's where I shop for my interior stuff. And maybe I'm just a massive cheapskate, but you know, like our dining room table and chairs, for example, we've had them for 10 years. It costs 95 quid from IKEA, and when I look around thinking, oh, we must replace them, we've had them for like 10 years, and I just think, oh my goodness, it's just so expensive. You know, if you look at some of the more expensive websites, you're looking at like 400, 500 quid for dining room table and chairs, and it's like, that's so much money. So we repainted our IKEA table and chairs white recently to revamp them. We bought some new cushions, so I'm a big fan of trying to revamp and revive things, and I'm not really into upcycling, and I know that kind of is upcycling. I'm the least crafty person in the world, but anything that I can just sort of give a new lease of life, brilliant. I'm all about that.